Hey everybody, it's Ron and David. We're just doing a little video here for you for back to school. Just trying to save a little time, make things a little easier on our meetings, and welcome you back. Hope you had a great summer, and we're looking forward to getting started back to this school year. So we have a site that we're going to include in an email along with this video that we're going to post a bunch of documents on, things that it'll just be a handy place for you to find things you might need as the year goes along. It's going to look a little different than it does on your screen right now because we'll be adding to it and moving some things around, but you can see the faculty handbook, student handbook, new evaluation document that's being worked on. Just a variety of things will be included on this wall at padlet.com /wall/Bolivar High School, and everyone will have access to that. Today, though, we are going to work through the faculty handbook a little bit and just go over some things that will help to get everybody on the same page. And we are going to be using this information with our meeting. We're going to be kind of processing some of this, so it's good that you're watching this video now so that you have some of the information that you will need to be able to actively participate as we process on our Monday afternoon meeting. So we'll just get started. Now, from Padlet, if you just click on one of these documents or one of these links, it should actually pull up the document for you just right in your web browser, so you don't have to open it really in Word or anything. It's just there so you can view it. And this is our faculty handbook, updated, a few updates for this year. So we're going to get started right now and go through this and just try to make some comments about some things that maybe are new or different or that just need a little revisiting.
Hi everybody, welcome back. It's good to be back for our new school year here. One of the first things that we wanted to remind you of regarding announcements, one of our goals is to, of course, interrupt class as little as possible, so we are going to reserve announcements to those things that are very important. Those emergent things might be time-sensitive things. Cancellations will have to be announced, but we're going to limit those as much as possible this year.
We'll talk about assemblies later when we get to that point. I don't think we're going to need much on this. This is an important one. Just each day, it's very, very important to take attendance during the first 10 minutes of each block. It really puts a burden on Lisa and Jean when they're having to track down attendance that was not submitted. And of course, the attendance record is it's a legal record of that's very important to our school and our district. And so we want to make sure that that's kept with great fidelity and that we're on top of that. And we understand that sometimes, occasionally, someone's going to forget to turn it in, but please do your best to remember to do that each day. Club and athletic meetings, the general rule is that we will not use Liberator time for any meetings that could be held before or after school, including whether those are clubs or activities or athletics or those kinds of things. We will make an occasional exception for things that might be, emergent, might be an emergency or very unusual situation where that time might need to be used. Now, with that said, once students are on privilege time, if you need a student who's an upperclassman and has privilege time, or a group of students, that would be acceptable, but we should not be pulling students out of Liberator time for meetings unless those have been approved through one of the administrative offices. So please help with that.
Please remember, when you are going to any of the computer labs in the building, it is important that as a teacher you monitor the students in there, and we prefer that you keep a chart of where each student sat so that if there are any problems with a particular computer station, we can track that down. And again, remember, the computers are for educational purposes, and we want the students staying on task when using those computers in the labs.
It's generally not a good idea to ask a substitute teacher to take a group of students to the computer lab. Again, that's a general rule. Some situations may differ from that, but don't plan on that typically. Remember, confidentiality is always something we want to be striving for. We need to be careful about the kinds of comments that we make to each other, and certainly in front of students, most importantly. Students should not call out their scores in class, and also graded work should not be posted for other students to see. And even your student aides or your cadet teachers, they cannot have access to grade books, putting grades in SIS, things of that nature. If they're going to score individual papers, if it's something that is just checking it off or that you don't have to assess, that may be a little more of a gray area, but do not let them into those grade books on SIS. Please remember to turn in a course syllabus for each of your classes at the beginning of the school year. These are the items that should be included on that syllabus.
Please make sure that in your classroom you have your emergency procedures posted and handy for you to access in the event that you need those. Fire and tornado procedures need to be posted due to the locations that you will be traveling in a drill or in the real event of either of those situations. And we will be again this year doing our drills monthly to prepare for that in the case that we would have an actual event.
Ron, I'll let you cover discipline too, since this is most relevant to what your area is.
Again, we will continue to use the SIS submission avenue for discipline referrals. I do appreciate you sending those in that way. Of course, if you need a student out of your room immediately, you can send a student, however, preferably letting us know so that myself or Dr. Guerin or our SRO can be aware of that or come down and assist with that. And if you need a student to leave your room immediately, of course, you wouldn't have a discipline referral immediately submitted, but you can do that after the fact on those situations. For others, I do ask that you get those submitted to me via that avenue, and then we can process that and have that for our documentation for that student. Again, you guys do a great job with that, and our discipline referrals have steadily decreased over the past 5 years, and we really appreciate that. You're doing a good job.
One other thing, just a little bit of rationale on, and that is a change, saying, hey, please don't just send them. One of the concerns as far as just the best practice with that is when you send a student to the office, more than likely they're not in a very good frame of mind. They're probably not in their happy place at that point. And for them to be just unsupervised, counting on them to get to the office without any other issues, it's just much better to try to, and I know you're probably, maybe don't want to interrupt, maybe something that the principals or the SROs are in the middle of, but we want to come and help. So just call us and we will come and get that student and bring them down to the office, and that way they're supervised during that time. We did include some things in the handbook, and we're not going to go over these, but just some ideas for dealing with classroom disruption. Again, we have a great staff that veteran teachers and new teachers as well, but all very competent and doing a great job. But these are just some things to think about in dealing with classroom disruption and some ideas for that. Obviously, we use email a lot in the building, so please try to check it regularly so you can keep up to date on things. Don't really have much to say about educational field trips. In addition to EOC testing, of course, this year we're going to be adding the pilot of the Smarter Balanced Assessment, so we're going to have a little more testing than we typically do. Don't have a lot more to say about that.
If you need a staff parking permit, come see us in the attendance office and we'll get you one of those.
Fundraisers, really nothing don't have a lot to say there. We like for you to let us know if you're planning a fundraiser so that we can kind of help facilitate that a little bit. One thing is that you need to check your account balance. If you have a student activity account, make sure that you're not deficit spending. And if you are, we're going to need you to make sure that you're collecting that fundraising money up front before the items are distributed or the activity occurs. We just need to keep an eye on that. As far as handling school money, any money that comes into your possession, and we have a lot of fundraising and different business activities that go on in our high school, do not leave money in your classrooms. It seems like every year we have theft out of classrooms from money that was left, and we need to be good stewards of the money that our students raise, that our patrons give, and we have a safe in the office where we can secure that, and you don't even have to write up the deposit. If you're in a hurry, you can just bring that in a money bag. We'll label it that it's yours, and then you can work up the deposit at a later time whenever you are able. But do not leave money in the classrooms. Just some things here on Late Start Wednesdays. Nothing we're going to cover right now. Some things about the process for going to the nurse's office.
One thing I will say about going to the nurse, if you send a student to the nurse, please make sure that you call Mindy and let her know they're on their way. Sometimes students will be sent and don't end up making it there. We'd appreciate that.
You want to talk about that one?
Yes, permission to leave class. Typically, some teachers have used hall passes to give students permission to leave class or go to a different destination in the school. To be honest, most students in the halls don't get checked for those hall passes, so we're going to leave the pass issuing up to the individual teacher. In other words, you can monitor your own whether you want to assign passes of one type or another or not, but in general, we aren't going to question students in the halls if they look like they are doing what they're supposed to be doing. But if a student gives us a sign or signal that he or she doesn't belong there, we're going to question them about that. We're not going to be hounding on the pass itself, just on the responsibility. And we want to coach good life skill responsibilities with our students. So that's how we'll handle those.
These instructions on submitting requisitions, be sure you're familiar with those. There is a requisition form that you need to use. It appears that the formatting here on this when it came up is a little bit off, but anyway, just make sure you do a requisition before a purchase. One thing that's new this year is that if you're using a vendor that has not been approved by the district, we don't have them on our listed vendor, you're going to have to do a form basically that requests that vendor be added to the approved vendor list of the district before you buy anything from them. And this is to prevent fraud and is a recommendation of our auditor. So that's just a procedural change. I would encourage you to use vendors that are common, that we use regularly, but I know from time to time there will be the need to add a vendor to the list. Semester exams. It seems like each year I get reports of classes that are not following the final exam schedule, and that is unacceptable. We have the final exam schedule at the end of the semester for a reason, and we expect everyone to follow it. Every class should give a final exam also, even if you're unusual, have something a little bit different, and that can be a project, a presentation. It can look a lot of different ways, but please give a rigorous final exam during the final exam schedule.
We've got 20 seconds left.
Good grief. Okay, we're going to shut this video off, and then we're going to come back with part 2 in just a second.